All right, let's go ahead and get started with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the July 14th meeting of the Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. I'm Aaron Mays, serving as the chair this year. I represent District 3. On my left is Commissioner Bill Rippon, representing District 1. And on my right is Commissioner Kevin Cook, representing District 2. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Madam Clerk, first item, please.
Item 3, consent agenda.
We have 4 items on the consent agenda this morning. Are there any objections, or is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
Okay, motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 4, new business. A, county clerk. Number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Okay. Under Bridge Project, King Construction Company, Inc., $160,881.23 is for bridge on Southeast Laurel Road over Tecumseh Creek. Under General Expenses, Murphy Restoration Services, $14,925.37 is for the restoration service for water leak at the election office. Total vouchers as of July 13th, 2022 is $1,139,491.77. There's no questions or comments. I would move for approval of the vouchers.
I would second, but I would also take a moment just to highlight under the allocations. I think it's always important to, from time to time, take a moment to recognize that we have allocations going to community action, elderly services, for social services to doorstep, to the East Topeka Council on Aging, Let's Help, Positive Connections. We have to the Soil Conservation, the Extension Council, the LULAC, just to really note that your tax dollars are going to use for social services and for services for those that are disadvantaged in our community as well. So.
Great. All right, a motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon and seconded by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Number 2, consider correction orders.
I'll move for approval of correction orders.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes 3-0. Next item, please.
Item B, Health Department. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-213-2022, Memorandum of Understanding with the United Way to serve as the fiscal agent for the Early Childhood Block Grant, July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023, with an award of $256,063 to the Health Department with no grant match requirements.
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Fisher, Director of the Health Department. As the clerk read, this is an agreement between us and United Way. United Way of Topeka desires to be the fiscal agent for the collaborative grant in which our community receives. The Health Department uses this particular money to help fund our Nurse Family Partnership Program, which is an evidence-based home visitation program for first-time parents here in our community. We've been happy with their partnership and their responsibilities as being the fiscal agent, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Questions for Teresa? No? All right. Then I will move to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Next item, please.
Item C, Department of Corrections. Number 1, consider the request for emergency repairs of a water line and related damage at the Juvenile Detention Center located at 401 Southeast 8th Street, and requesting the use of contingency funds for payment of any costs not reimbursed through insurance.
Good morning, Commissioners. Eve Kendall, Department of Corrections. A few weeks ago, we had a water main break that we have determined is underneath our building, which has greatly increased the cost of the repair, as you can imagine. We are in the middle. We have the temporary fix, and we have the bid for the permanent fix. We are requesting to use contingency funds for anything that our insurance will not cover. We are working with the clerk's office as far as the insurance claim. We've discussed options with Ms. Griner as far as what our options might be. And we've had 2 adjusters come through already, but we have not heard anything final yet.
Okay, questions? Commissioner Rippon?
What does the permanent fix look like? Is that a whole new water line under there? Or?
Yes, sir. They're proposing a whole new water line that will be bored through from the main, which is out by the street, bored through, and then a trench down about 12 feet in our building to create the junction, the joint, and then back up to our backflow preventer, which is right inside the building.
Sure.
Yep, Commissioner Cook?
What's the status of the water for the juvenile detention facility right now?
Our contractor was able to come in the next day and create a temporary line, a 2-inch line, that we have in our building right now. So everything is running as it should be, but it's above ground and it's a temporary line. So they said that will work until they're able to provide the permanent fix, which we are thinking will be another couple weeks because they have to get the equipment and all the supplies and whatnot, so, and work with subcontractors for the boring.
So, for the time being, we are able to still facilitate or use
Yes, sir,
the juvenile
everything is
detention-
back to normal as far as our water service to the juveniles and the staff. Everything's running like it should be.
Okay. For those individuals that might not know, if there was to be a problem at the juvenile detention facility that it could not be operated, are
Yes.
juveniles able to be taken to the adult facility?
No, sir, there's statutes that prevent that unless we get exceptions through the state that we can do that. We do have contracts with other agencies through our COOP plan, which is our emergency preparedness plan, that we have agreements that they would be able to help house our juveniles or our inmates, depending on where the emergency is, until we're able to better provide the safety and security, the life needs that they deserve and desire. So we do have other plans if it didn't work out, but luckily we had a quick fix. Our contractor has been wonderful as far as providing emergency service for us.
My second question is, or third question rather, is for Betty. Do we have sufficient money in contingency to be able to budget for this?
Yes, we do have. We
Okay.
have, I think we are estimating right now at about 150,000, and we do have that in contingency.
Very good. That's
We're
all I have.
lucky this happened in the summer and not the winter.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Gee, it'd be a mess.
I just wish it would have been about 10 feet farther to the west where it would have been not under our building.
Oh,
Yeah, and do you, off the top of your head, do you know what the deductible was on that insurance claim?
I do not know what our deductible is. That would be a clerk's office question.
Okay. We'll talk later. I'll go ahead. I'll move for approval.
second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Next item, please.
Item D, Parks and Recreation, number 1. Approval is requested to take advantage of Resolution 2018-22 related to the Enterprise Fleet Management Early Order Strategy. Parks and Recreation intends to replace 17 Ford F-150s currently leased. Equity from the leased vehicles will be used to offset the cost of leasing new vehicles, which is expected to decrease.
Good morning, Brent Holsether, Parks and Rec Fleet Services Supervisor. I'm going to do my best to explain something that is not necessarily easy to explain. These trucks would actually, we're ordering would be to replace the 2022 model trucks that we have not received yet. I did speak to Ford yesterday, and they are still scheduling trucks for production, so they haven't officially canceled the ones that we've ordered for 2022. However, we don't know that we're going to get the 2022 trucks, in which case we would still need the 2023 trucks because number of these on a shorter lease. The estimates, the quotes that we got are based on 2022 prices that we raised by about 15% because Ford will not release the pricing for 2023 until the day that they open the ordering. The reason that that's an issue is that the ordering opens and closes so fast, we would not have time to get the accurate quote, bring it to you, get it approved, bring it back. Back in May, Chevrolet opened their ordering and 8 hours later closed their ordering for the year. So what I would like to do is if you would be willing to approve the quotes that we have, once the orders are made and we have the accurate quote, I'd be more than willing to bring that back to you and share what the actual prices are. I believe if we get the 2022 trucks with the equity that we have in the trucks we have now and the value of those trucks, that we see what we have seen over the last few years where getting new trucks actually causes the annual lease payment to go down. If we do not receive the 22 trucks, I think it could be, I don't know, it's a little bit of tea reading at this point when you get 2 cycles of trucks out to know exactly how much it's going to cost and exactly how much everything's going to be worth. I will say that I've done my very best to make sure that no matter what, it would be within the budget that we have allotted for the lease. I'll do my best to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions?
I'm gonna be candid, it kind of sounds like a little bit of voodoo math here, and we're taking vehicles we don't have to trade in, but we're getting paid for something we don't actually have in hand and getting equity from, and so I'm not sure, on paper it makes sense. I get it, but just from a practical standpoint, we need 17 vehicles. We don't have 17 vehicles. We're hoping to get 17 vehicles. And unless we start going and buying wheelbarrows, if we don't have the 17 vehicles, we're going to be kind of in a world of hurt.
Betty Griner, Director of Administrative Services. I think what we're mainly wanting right now is your permission to order these vehicles.
Okay.
The order time is so short, and it's such a short window, that if he does not order these and get your permission to order them, then we are completely out of luck for the whole year. So I think that's really,
If the actual prices come back higher than what we expected, everybody in the country is fighting to get new trucks. We can cancel the orders and we'll not be out anything. But if we don't order them, then we're one step behind.
Sounds fine.
What about our other departments? What are, like Public Works, are you in the same dilemma, I guess? Or do you?
Kind of, except we're not leasing.
You're not leasing,
We're
I see.
ordering.
Okay.
So, Brent, these are all F-150s. Is it the same story at every manufacturer? I mean, Toyota, Nissan, Chevy, GMC, they all make trucks.
Yes, so at one time, it was almost unheard of for the order banks not to be open. In fact, to have them not open for a day was a big deal to the manufacturers. Right now, we can't order any truck from anyone. They all are, in fact, even Ford is opening their order banks incrementally. In other words, F-150s can be ordered right now, but it's probably going to be another month or two before F-250s and up could be ordered. There's several other manufacturers that will be opening order banks, but most of those are in September or October.
Mr. Chair, is their big hangup, is it the chips that they can't get? Is that their big problem?
That is one of the major problems. I think another issue is demand. There's been a lot of ARPA money spread around the country, so a lot of other municipalities are able to purchase vehicles that they wouldn't have been able to purchase otherwise. There was a lot of dealerships that completely ran out of vehicles, and Ford and the other manufacturers want to fill their lots. So you kind of get it on both ends. So I know production has been shut down at least 3 times at the Ford plants in order to, because of chip shortage.
I think Parks and Rec's gonna buy your truck, that's what I hear.
I think it's 18 years old.
Well, it was devalued with that K-State sticker in this window.
Oh, no.
We are
Put
still
hold it
using that. Bill, we are still using that Ford Ranger that you used to drive, so.
All right, any other questions for
Took
Brett?
good care of it.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Next item.
Item E, Commission, number 1, consider approval of resolution number 2022-57, notifying the Shawnee County Clerk of the Board of County Commissioners' intent to exceed the revenue neutral rate for the 2023 budget.
Good morning, Betty Greiner, Director of Administrative Services. State law requires this notification to the county clerk, and this is setting the public hearing date that we will have for the 2023 budget of August the 22nd at 5:30 p.m. Here in the Shawnee County Courthouse, room 511, which are the commission chambers.
Questions for Betty? I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Number 2, consider approval of resolution number 2022-58 to set up a public hearing to consider the submission of a sales tax ballot question to fund recreational facilities in Shawnee County and create a Gage Park Improvement Authority.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jim Kraus, Shawnee County Councilor. Just like the item before you, this is a matter required by state law. This resolution would set a public hearing on whether to consider putting on the ballot a question that would authorize the Gage Park Improvement Authority. This resolution would set the public hearing for August 18th, 2022 during your regularly scheduled Board of County Commissioners meeting. It also sets the rate at 0.35% to consider. You could not exceed that rate following a vote at that hearing. This requires a notice to be published by the clerk's office in the official county newspaper for 3 consecutive weeks, and also requires our IT department to post notice of the public hearing on our website. I'll try to answer any questions you might have.
Questions?
I know that I've gotten quite a few questions from people that are maybe confused or not sure that they've heard everything about this. I understand that we have one of the main creators of this law in the room, but from the county's standpoint, what exactly does this state statute do? What is the purpose of our putting this on for a public hearing? What are the steps in all of this?
It's a multi-step process, but the state statute enables the creation of a new public board called the Gage Park Improvement Authority. It also puts the matter, before it can be created, it must be approved by the voters of Shawnee County. This Board of County Commissioners cannot create the authority, or the board cannot levy the tax. Only the voters of Shawnee County can do that. This is the first step in a multi-step process of putting an item on the ballot in November for the voters to either approve or disapprove of creating this authority. If the voters approve it, then there will be a new public body that has a public board consisting of the director of Shawnee County Parks and Recreation, the director of the zoo, the director of the Kansas Children's Service Center, 2 appointees from the Topeka City Council, and 2 appointees from the Shawnee County Commission. There will be a sales tax levied countywide on all sales within Shawnee County in the percentage that's finally determined to put before the voters. And that sales tax would fund the activities of the authority. And there is a percentage breakdown of where those monies go in the legislation, but essentially the monies go to improvement, maintenance of the zoo, the other facilities within Gage Park, and the Kansas Children's Service Center.
So on this memorandum, it says in the amount of .35. What is the point, what exactly does that mean?
Well, that's the amount that would be levied as an additional sales tax, 0.35% on all sales within Shawnee County.
So that's 0.3 of 1 cent?
Yeah, that's 3.5 cents on a dollar, correct?
Okay, all right. So, and then when we're looking at that, if this public hearing is held, then the next step is it goes to the voters for them to decide?
When we have the public hearing, the Board of County Commissioners will then vote whether to allow this item to be on the ballot and in what amount would the sales tax be, period. And that would go on the November regular election ballot.
And then if this is approved, then when does it become effective and start being charged?
The sales tax would become effective January 1st of 2023, and the board, there's a deadline for the board to assemble and meet around the first of the year. So effectively in January 2023, the board would start meeting, the tax would begin being collected.
And if this starts at .35, is it going to be .35 forever, or could it go up or down? How does that work?
It may not be 0.35, it'll be in whatever amount this board determines following the public hearing on August 18th. But anytime there is a request to change that amount up or down, and the range allowed in the statute is 0.2 to 0.5, we would need to go through this same process again, and that is notice, public hearing, and a ballot question vote. So to increase this amount in the future, it would have to be on an even year ballot in the future to whether voters would approve to increase it.
So it's not going to be like the library board where they change their mill levy amount every year.
The voters control whether to have this board and the amount to be levied to support the board each time at every level.
And this money that's being generated potentially, it can only go to those entities within Gage Park?
Yes. And the statute delineates what it can be used for.
Okay.
But essentially, it's for improvement, maintenance, and other activities within the facilities within Gage Park.
And so, finally, I think it's maybe most important to note that we as the Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners, we're not advocating for or against this at this time. We're merely advancing this for the public to be able to have input as it moves forward, if it moves forward. And then ultimately, the voters would decide whether or not they want to create this board or not.
Only the voters can create it. This board cannot create the authority or levy the tax. Only the voters can do that in November.
All right.
Commissioner Rippon.
Who appoints the board that will oversee the?
Well, per statute, it will be the 3 directors of the 3 entities, the zoo, Parks and Recreation, Shawnee County Parks and Recreation, and the Kansas Children's Discovery Center. Then the city can appoint 2 members and the county can appoint 2 members.
Okay. When you say the county, is that commissioners?
That's the commission.
Okay. And all the funds they will be collected by the county then?
By the state.
By the state.
And
and then
deposited to the authority.
Oh,
Yes.
to the authority.
to the authority to be spent in accordance with the statute that authorizes the authority.
Further questions? Jim, what is the date of the public hearing that we,
August 18th.
okay,
And we've already worked this out with the clerk to make sure that that's sufficient time to publish as required by the statute and to meet the statutory requirements.
okay. Any other questions? All right, I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Jim. Next item, please.
Item 5, public comment.
I don't have anybody signed up for public comment today. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, next item.
Administrative communications.
Any administrative communications?
Good morning, Commissioners. Dusty Nichols, Emergency Management. Hey, happy Stampede and Fiesta Week. We got a lot of people in those areas going to those festivals and festivities, and we want to make sure we're taking care of them the best we can. The weather is looking pretty good, but it is Kansas and it's Stampede Week, so we're getting in front of that, and we want to make sure we have an opportunity to get important information to those people out there, because there's not a lot of cover. Not a lot of shelters out there, so we are using Nixle again this year, and all people have to do is send a text to 888-777, and that text should say Stampede 22. So text Stampede 22 to 888-777, and you'll get important information from us. We're primarily focused on public safety issues, of course, but if Stampede needs information out about road closures or diversions, stuff like that, we'll definitely put that information out as well. We want people to stay hydrated and be ready, because the weather is supposed to be pretty warm. We're right on the edge of a heat advisory, so I think our temperatures are at 98. And I know from experience, when you're out there in an open area without shade, those heat indices can get up there pretty quick, especially with a lot of bodies in one area. So please hydrate, be careful, have a contact outside of there. And please, if you're out there, watch for cones and people in uniform and message boards. Don't run over people in uniform. Well, don't run over anybody for that matter, but everybody's there to help. And so be safe, have fun, and type Stampede 22 in the text to 888-777 and get information directly from us should the need be. So,
Thank you.
Courtney House, Director of Public Works. I'm pleased to announce that our Croco Road work is complete and open. I understand from 2 spies it looks pretty good, so thank you for the opportunity to get that project done.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Andrew Howell, Shawnee County Election Commissioner. Just a reminder, early voting starts next Monday. We've got a lot of booths and machines to get set up over the next couple of days, and we're actually working fairly late at the office right now. We've had a lot of registrations, historic numbers, and so we're working through those kind of late into the evening at the moment. But we will be setting up for voting next Monday. We'll be starting Monday morning at 8, running all week till 7 p.m. for voters. We actually mailed all of the advanced ballots. The requests that we have out so far have been mailed out. They're in the mail. I expect them to probably start hitting mailboxes Saturday is my best guess, but it's hard to say exactly how long those will take to hit the mailboxes for those that have requested. Just a reminder, you can drop them off at the office once they've been filled out. Additionally, you certainly can put them in the Postal Service. Still plenty of time. I do recommend people use our website. You can actually track your ballot, when it was sent out, when it was received back. And we're trying to kind of make that easier for folks to really track where their ballot's at in the process. So just a reminder. And then remember, you can also turn your mail ballot to any polling place in Shawnee County on Election Day. The law now allows that as well. If you're mailing it by UPS, I always recommend people get that in the mail. It takes a little longer than it used to sometimes to get mail back and forth, so please be as quick as you can about that, because the last thing any of us want is the ballot not getting back to the office. A reminder, the law does still allow those ballots to return to us, and as long as we receive them by the Friday following Election Day, if they're postmarked prior to Election Day, they can still be counted. So that law does still exist. I know there was some question in the legislature about that. Just a reminder that that is still possible. Remember, also, I want to make sure people know that all voters are eligible to vote in this primary. All libertarians can vote, all unaffiliateds can vote. Unaffiliated voters actually can join either the Republican or Democrat Party, or they can remain unaffiliated and just vote on the question itself. So there's a lot of options. And then just a reminder to the commission to canvass date August 15th. 13 days after Election Day. So that's my reminders for the day. Any questions?
Do you have enough election poll workers, or are you still looking for some?
I think we're okay for the primary if we don't have too many drops. I think we'll be fine. But if we are still building some backup workers on our roster, we're looking for backup workers in case somebody ends up dropping, which we always have a few. And we're still trying to build the list of available names to help us in the general election as well. So we are still looking for that, yes. Thank you for that question.
And if a person wants to be a poll worker, how do they go about doing that?
We have a clickable link on our website that you can either print it out or just call the office if you've got questions. I know we allow people who are 16 or older to be election workers. There's some extra requirements, but certainly call the office at 251-5900 or find the link on our website.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Any other administrative communications? Commissioner Rippon?
Nothing to add. I'll let you fill in or fill everybody in on the NOTO, or not the NOTO, I'm sorry,
The
JADO meeting.
stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioner Cook?
I don't have anything to add. Thank you.
Okay, well, we had a big day yesterday in Shawnee County. There was a huge event at the town site where the governor and Senator Moran and the CEO of Panasonic announced a big project coming to DeSoto, which is good for Topeka. It was a great event for Topeka yesterday. But we also had some great local news at the JADO meeting. We approved incentives for the expansion of 3 local companies, Topeka Foundry and Iron Works, Mainline Printing and Holographics, I believe is how they say that. And then also for Polo Custom Products. So it's great to see businesses expanding here in Shawnee County. Wish the best to all of those. Also, we had the Country Stampede kickoff party down at Evergy Plaza at the same time. So downtown was really alive last night with all those dignitaries in town. It was a good way to showcase some of the things that we've got going on. And so looking forward to another big weekend with Stampede and Fiesta going on this weekend. I encourage everybody to get out, and as Dusty said, stay hydrated because it's going to be a hot one. That's all I have. So next item, please.
Executive sessions.
We do have a need for executive session today, so I'll make a motion that we go into executive session for a period not to exceed 15 minutes for the following reason. Consultation with an attorney for the public body or agency which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, specifically for contract negotiations involving courthouse renovation. That'll be for 15 minutes. No action is expected following this executive session. So that's my motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. Those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Let's give it just a few minutes. We'll begin executive session at 9:40. We're in executive session at 9:40. Okay, we're back from executive session. No action was taken. We are adjourned.